And bum, bum, bum. It is possible that we could be streaming live right now. It takes always a few seconds for the delay for it to kick in. And it says we are now live. And it says we are live. So welcome to this week's Cosmic Conversation. I am Stacey Harder with my mom, Dr. Heather Harder. And whoa, what a week it has been. Hello, hello. I'm sure if you are on this planet, then you're feeling all this yumminess. Tonight is the super full moon. Some people, I think, said strawberry moon. In the same week as a solstice, which is summer and winter, depending on where you were and are on this planet. And then you mix it with eclipse and two eclipses. It is special times in the stars right now. So with that being said, I hope that all of you have the courage to really live and breathe and experience the life that you came here to create. All right, that being said, I'm passing it over to Heather. Go ahead,
Thank
Heather.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's pulling all the ugliness out. Sort of like a splinter when you have an old impacted splinter. When you pull it out, there's a lot of ucky pus and whatnot that has to come out as well. And that's really what's happening to each one of us. Is there whatever is unresolved on the inside is being pulled out, and with it comes all the festering that's happened along a lifetime. So do look at your dark side. Do look at the ickies that have been showing up in your life, either through other people or through yourself, and determine what that means for you. Sometimes it means that you need to find new friends. Sometimes it means that you need to look at some things within yourself. Sometimes it means that you have been avoiding some of the issues that need to be looked at. No one can tell you what it means. You have to examine, look at, search, and become aware yourself. But it is important to reflect on whatever is coming up in your life, because lots and lots are coming up. Before we start, our first item of agenda is always to ask for protection, for guidance, and truth. And with that, I've been throwing in trust to act and live in our truth. And so, in whatever way that means to you, just call it in. You have all the protection in the world if you ask for it. You have all the guidance in the world if you ask for it. And pay attention to it. It's like if you have your navigator and you plug in where you want to go, but then you never listen to it or follow it or pay any attention to it, that it may be the best navigator in the world, but it's not going to help you much. And that's what happens sometimes with our own divine guidance. We get it, but we don't pay attention to it. It's easier to pretend that we don't hear it. So pay attention, but it is always important to ask for those things: protection, guidance, truth, and then the ability to trust the truth that we receive, because truth isn't coming in gently. Truth isn't coming in to placate you. Truth is coming in to sort of hit you in the head in order to wake you up and make you aware. And so do look at those lumps you're getting and pay attention. So before we go into our light work, is there any questions or any issues that anyone wants to bring up? Anything online, Stacey? You're allowed to pop in.
Just some of our regulars, which is always lovely to check in with our tribe and a few countries already. Mules, I'm not sure where you are. And I don't actually know your real name, but it's nice to see you on here. Yes, so recently our Juan Carlos is saying something, but I haven't gotten the rest part. Just yes, I recently. So,
well, if things are being more intense than normal, just recognize the universe is talking louder. Sometimes it's to get your attention, sometimes it's to make you aware, but it really isn't a time for gentle nudging. It is now whomp in the head. in order to get your attention. So if there's nothing, then we'll just do the light work.
Okay.
And for those who may be new, the light work is our the reason why we're on the planet. Everything is energy. Light, love, God all carry the same vibration, the same energetic print. And when we play with the energy, when we play with light, love, and the divine forces, we're literally changing the universe. And we do that because that's why we came to the planet. We came to change our world. And so when we're playing with light and love, we're literally making that happen. So recognizing that you are energy, and I close my eyes just to block out and be able to listen a bit more clearly to my divine guidance. And so you can do it open-eyed or closed-eyed. It doesn't matter because your eyes are not magic. It's just whatever allows you to get the most in focus to the forces that guide you. But recognize you are energy made manifest. You are that divine love, divine light, and you're just going to experience yourself as an energetic force, actually as an energetic team. Your mind has one consciousness, one vibration. Your body has another vibration. Your soul spirit has another vibration. And your job is to have them work in harmony. That's really what we're doing. And when you work in harmony, you literally can increase your energy manyfold in order to send that energy out into the world. So just connect with that light, love energy that you are. And then imagine opening yourself up to connect with all those on this planet who are light, love energy. And then imagine going to center, whatever that looks like for you. I like my center to be like a beach. It's a place where I feel comfortable. I feel most connected. I feel most relaxed. But yours can be something totally different. It can look like something. It can look like nothing. It doesn't matter. There's no right. There's no wrong. Just set the intention to go to center. When you are in center, you are most aligned with the heavenly helpers, the energy of your creative source. And I like to imagine like a pillar of light, a beam of light coming down from the heavens to me, through me, into the earth. And I step into that beam and just feel that energy. We are constantly, continuously being sent energies from the heavens above. And when we align ourselves to that, we just move in harmony with that energetic force. So imagine just stepping in this beam of light and sending this energy down to us and through us into the earth. We are here to anchor heaven to earth. We do that through the energies that we are and the energies that we use. When you're doing your healing work, when you're doing your light work, you should never come from just self. You want to put yourself in this beam of light so the energy comes from above to you, through you, and that's the energy that you use on the planet. If you're only coming from self and you're not getting a constant replenishment, you'll get drained, you'll get exhausted, you'll get depleted, and that's not the state the universe wants you in. So by connecting yourself to the divine forces and allowing that supply of light and love to always come to you and through you to wherever you're directing it, then you don't have to worry about becoming depleted. You're always being recharged. So just feel that energy flow to you and through you. And as it flows to you, let it wash away any resistances, anything that impedes your divine progress. Let it help put you in balance. Let it wash away any old issues that you haven't looked at, that you don't need to look at. Just allow it to come to you and through you. And then when you're ready, just imagine taking this force of light and sending it into the earth, filling every cell in, on, and around this planet with your love and light. Fill every tunnel, every vacancy, every space with love and light. Every living creature, every conscious being in, on, and around this planet, let them be saturated with your love and light. Let anything that is not love and light be washed away, dissipated, neutralized with your love and light. You are divine, and as such, you have the right to use this energetic force, this amazing, magical process to serve this planet and its people. And now imagine sending this light and love out into the atmosphere, just surrounding this planet with your light and love. The atmosphere is to this planet as your skin is to your body. It's a very important protective covering. And when we love the atmosphere, when we fill the atmosphere with love and light, we literally are making it stronger and healthier. One of the ways the earth finds her balance is through storms, is through weather patterns. Imagine the weather patterns all around this planet and fill them with love and light. On this planet, there are people and beings of all forms and all sorts that want to interfere with the progression of this planet, with the evolution of this planet, with the ascension of this planet and its people. They interfere, they manipulate, they change, they alter, they impede. Our job is to love them. So imagine seeing all these creatures, all these people, all these beings who have a less than honorable intent. And in some cases, they have an honorable intent. They just see the outcome different than the divine plan. And we want to love them. And we're going to love them into trusting the divine plan. None of us know exactly what's happening and how it's happening and why it's happening. That's why the divine plan is so important. We have to trust that there is a greater wisdom, individually and collectively, that is ensuring the success of this planet, ensuring the safety and evolution of this planet. So we want to love all those who might wish to interfere. On this planet, everyone who's ever been on this planet, everyone who will ever be on this planet, leaves a residue of consciousness. We call this the collective conscious. This collective conscious is affected by everyone who's ever been on the planet, and it affects everyone who is on the planet. So we want to just imagine this incredible reservoir of our energetic totality and fill it with love, fill it with light. Whether you see it as a great lake that we have collected everything in, or a wonderful mist that we all operate in, just imagine filling the collective consciousness with love, with the divine knowing that everything is in divine order and that each of us are being a perfect member of the divine team. Imagine sending light and love to anyone and everyone who's in pain, who's in hurt, who's in scarcity, who's in fear. Just imagine filling them with love and light. Give the permission to the angels to use this collective energy in any way that serves this planet and its people. Our job is just to send love and light. On this planet, in our country, we're getting ready for elections again. Throughout the world, we are having elections. We are choosing people to make decisions on behalf of humanity. And we want to love those people who are running for office, who are in office, who are in positions of authority where they're making decisions. We want to love those who are acting on behalf of humanity's good, the collective well-being of this planet, and we want to love those who are not. We want to love those who are operating out of fear, manipulation, control, who have their own agenda, who have their own purpose, whether they're acting out of greed or arrogance. Our job is just to love them. They're all part of the divine plan. They're all part of our creation of the divine. They're all part of the family, and they stimulate us to look and see ourselves in different ways. Our job is just to love them. Throughout this planet, there are a lot of people now who are experiencing the jab. There are a lot of people who are experiencing the aftermath of it. We want to love all of them. Love the contents of that. We want to love all those who resist it and all those who surrender to it. It's all part of this grand drama that's playing out on the planet. And our job is not to judge it, but just to be mindful of it, to listen even more closely to our role in this process. And to be ever open to what our instructions are for our greatest good. If you're doing what's for your greatest good, chances are very, very good that you're doing what's good for everyone. And we want to just trust that. each of you have a special energetic force that can show up as a being or just as an essence or just as a knowing or feeling. What I'd like to do is just give you a few minutes to connect with that divine source of your own inner wisdom. Just feel how it feels when they show up. Hear how you hear it when they show up. No people will experience it alike, but being open to it, recognizing it is very important. So we call in on behalf of each of you individually and the world collectively, your own source of divine wisdom, and help it activate your own inner wisdom. You are much, much, much wiser than you can imagine. You are much more powerful than you dare believe. And your world is much more complex than you ever fathomed. So right now, just be open to this prompting of your own divine wisdom coming from whatever source is for your greatest good. I'm just going to give you a few minutes to commune. Let that important source of wisdom become familiar to you. Hear them, feel them, know them, trust them. And when you're ready, just imagine opening yourself to the source of all wisdom, this divine presence. And know that whatever you send out must come back to you. It's the law. So as you've been sending out love and light, you now have to open to receive this love and light. That you're worthy of this love and light. You're open to this love and light. That you deserve this love and light. Just feel how it feels as this energy comes back to you, filling every cell of your physical body, filling your consciousness with this divine essence. Let it balance and heal your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body. Let bring balance. And recognize that everything is in divine order, and that trusting divine order, calling in divine order is very important and very easy. And when you're ready, just take a deep breath, anchor this energy in every cell, and come back to the here and now, bringing the awareness and love to all those who need it, all those who want it, all those who will allow it. Feel how it feels. This is the energy that you want to do your earth walk in. And anything that causes you to move outside this energy, this peace that passes understanding, you need to examine and look at and see what's causing the disturbance. Okay, anybody have any reactions or thoughts or feelings or questions or experiences they want to share? And then this is the part where we move into the questions and the conversations. If you have anything that you want to share, anything you want to ask, and this is your time.
I'd like to say welcome, Nelsie, who joined us on Zoom. And again, you're welcome to join us on Zoom. The Zoom number is 428-733-218, and it's the same one every week. But you're welcome to get on. Mom loves to talk to people face to face and see them and interact. She's a teacher, so she's used to that. My hair's a little crazy. Hi, someone just put her face back on. Would you like to say something?
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any experiences this week they want to talk about? Otherwise, we'll have a very short class on this strawberry moon day. Stacy, anything you want to share about the strawberry moon?
No, they ask, how can one distinguish a suggestion coming from ego or from higher self? Is it that?
Say it again?
How can one distinguish when a suggestion is coming through from ego or from higher self?
Look at your motivation. First of all, I'm of the school that your ego is not a bad thing, that your ego is part of the totality that you are. The ego has problems when it gets out of balance. And that can happen in lots of ways. If you're always feeding the ego, it becomes very demanding. And therefore, it's like me, 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 me. I want to be noticed. I want to be treated. I want to be loved. I want to be this. I want to be that. I want you to notice me, me, me. So that me ego is unhealthy. But the opposite is also equally unhealthy. I don't want attention, don't bother me, leave me alone, let me bury myself. And so if you start just like a child who's really been programmed to be ignored will slink off in the corner and not demand attention. Um, the person who ends up being the axe murderer, often quiet kids in the back of the room. So your ego should be a healthy part of everything you do, not attention seeking, attention grabbing, not wanting the world to notice you in your various capacities, or not trying to hide from them or run from them. But just a healthy part. I've actually been in my spiritual journey, been given things to do to feed my ego because they said when the ego is a part of what you're doing, it actually will become a great source of motivation to continue to do it. So for me, the ego is not your enemy. The ego is a very important part of your life on this planet. But when you're looking for the motivation, why do I want to do that? Search in truth. Why is this upsetting me? Why do I want to do this? If it's for a personal gratification, probably not such a healthy place to be. If you're wanting to be noticed for doing good, probably not a healthy place to be. Um, I'm trying to think of an example right now that would share it. A father who, or mother, or parent who gives their child all the things they want, says yes to them all the time, can be coming from an unhealthy place if they're doing it out of guilt, if they're doing it out of manipulation. They want to avoid a meltdown of their child. That the child is manipulating the parent. You have to look at, why are you doing it? I want to do this for my child. Why do I want to do it? The healthy reason is I just want to. But if you have an agenda, if you have something that you benefit from doing it, I want to do it to keep the kid quiet. I want to do it because I want the PTA to think I'm a good parent. I want to do this because if there's a because, oftentimes that's an ego kind of action. But the only one who can truly know that is you. And you have to go within and see, why am I wanting to do this? What's my motivation? And it's not easy, but it is important. Does that answer your person's question? You're muted, so if you're talking, it doesn't do any good.
Okay. I said, we'll see, because it takes a few seconds. Yes, thank you very much. And then Esme had a question. If you could talk about the 12 things that you mentioned last week about the law of attraction and how they impact the quality of life. And then he gave a yes exclamation point.
Well, it wasn't 12 things that impact the law of attraction. The law of attraction is one of 12 things that impact the quality of your life or the nature of your life. We get law of attraction has a great PR team. They make it sound like it's everything to everything, that if you think right or if you say right, then all good things are to come to you. And if something bad, as we would define bad, comes to you, it's because of faulty thinking. It's because of poverty thinking. And so people beat themselves up because they're not thinking right, and they're busy trying to say these affirmations and these other things in order to bring in abundance or prosperity or avoid these ucky people. But it's bigger than that. And I don't have the sheet in front of me that says what the 12 are, so I'm going to do my best to remember them. But the first is, you are a light worker. If the rules don't apply the same way to you, I've said it before, but you have free will on this planet. Everything is about free will. But if you join the army, all of a sudden, a lot of your free will is just gone. You don't get to decide what to eat. You don't get to decide what you're going to do. You don't get to decide what you're going to wear. You don't get to decide when you get up at in the morning or when you go to bed at night. Those decisions are made because you join the army. And it's the same thing for light workers. We joined an elite team to come to this planet in order to make a difference. And because of that, circumstances are happening to us and around us that put us in the place to make a difference, whatever that is. So that you can have all the right affirmations and all the right thoughts, and you're doing all the law of attraction shit, and you're still going to have this experience because you need this experience in order to cause this ripple that's going to make a difference here. An example for me today. I'm wanting to move out of the state. I don't know where I'm moving, but I know I'm moving. So I'm getting the house ready to list, and I'm going to figure out where I'm going when my house sells. Well, when you get your house ready to list, you got a whole bunch of stuff you got to do that have been sort of deferred maintenance over the years. So it's like, I got to do this, I got to take this down, I got to fix this. So I needed a handyman. And I've done all the traditional things of handyman seeking, and to no avail. So last night about midnight, I put an ad on Facebook Market saying, I need a handyman. I want a handyman. And so this guy answered the email. And so today my new Facebook handyman showed up, and he said, I was literally leaving the area because I've been looking for things and it hasn't worked out. So your ad was a sign that I'm supposed to be here. Okay. So I'm a sign that he's supposed to be here. And then as we're talking, it ends up that he's very spiritual. He's relatively young, and he gets, everybody thinks I'm crazy. And I said, well, that's okay. Crazy people still make a lot of sense. But the questions, while he's doing my jobs, he's asking all these spiritual questions and doing all these things, which literally you can tell he was like soaking up like a sponge. So my handyman needed me, and I needed my handyman. So the universe brought us together. It wasn't necessarily my thinking or my affirmations. I trust that it's going to be divinely perfect, but that connection, I don't know the ripple I've caused in him, and he will never know the ripple he's caused in my life, but it was divinely perfect, and I'm sure divinely ordained. And that's sort of what our lives are. We have to recognize that we're not here just for us and just for now. We're here to put ripples into the universe that will change forever. So that's the second law of attraction. And then you signed up for this, so get over it. Then we have the issues of judgment. When you judge something, universal law says you got to experience it. So if I think about this crappy ass driver that's cutting me off and doing brake tests and doing all these kinds of things, and I'm judging this driver like craziest idiot, and stuff, I'm going to have to experience that. I'm going to have to be that idiot driver because that's the way the universe works. So now my issues of judgment have become a third factor. If I judge X, Y, and Z, I got to experience X, Y, and Z. And if you read my books, there's some interesting stories about that. So that's 3. You also have what you signed up for. Before you came into this planet, you sort of created your lesson plans. You either designed, agreed to everything that happens in the first 12 years of your life. Based on those experiences, you then also go on to experience whatever it is that you're going to experience. As I've said before, but I love the example. John Gacy was abused and mistreated as a child. When he turned 13, he used those experiences to become a mass murderer. Paula Hawkins was abused as a child. When she grew up, she used those experiences to become a U.S. Senator and change the laws to protect children. Same experiences, but how they use them were different. And so in our lives, we put together certain experiences like that that are preordained, um, so that we determine what our life is going to be. Um, and then choices along the way. I have today a choice whether I want to get angry and blow up at something or I don't. I have the choice of whether I'm going to eat dinner or I'm not. That every moment of your day is not just a product of your thinking, but it's a product of your behavior. And so if you choose to run away, that's a choice. And there's no right or wrong. There's just choices, but they bring consequences. And so whatever your choices are, bring about the consequences of your choices. Nothing and no one should prevent you from experiencing the consequences of your choices. And I'm looking at you, Rebecca, because I know you're a parent. When you've got a child under the age of 13, helping them understand that their choices bring about consequences in their life is probably the single most important lesson they can experience. From 13 on, helping them see the consequences that their experiences as a result of the decisions they made. They're not removed, and helping people become responsible is very important. If you make it easy for someone not to experience the consequences of their action, you literally are handicapping them. So, as a parent, the worst thing we can do, or as a partner, is to make it easy for someone not to experience the consequences of their action. So, that's another one of those factors that make a difference in your life. Who you choose to spend time with is a huge impact on your life. If you choose, and I don't have a good word for it that doesn't sound judgmental, so I'm just going to use the word ugly. If you choose ugly people in your life, pretty soon those ugly things that they're doing are going to be seen normal, and you're going to be taking on that ugly energy vicariously, just because energy affects energy, and you're going to start acting and doing more ugly things, not because you have to, but because of the associations you bring into you. It's one of the reasons why light workers, as they move into their what's lovingly called ascension, their higher vibrations, you often lose connection with people of a lower vibration. They're no longer satisfying. They're no longer stimulating. They're no longer part of the team that you want to spend energy with. And so that's also one of the things that impact you. You can get up every morning and say 45 minutes of your positive affirmations and your thinking, and then you go hang out with a bunch of ugly people, and it's not going to do any good because that ugly people energy is going to be overriding it. And then, with that comes the karmic consequences that in other lifetimes you've done things that you feel you need to make amends for, and so you set things up in this lifetime in order to make amends for them. That karmic obligation is not mandated, it's a choice, but humanity often feels the need to correct, just like the 12-step programs. If you've ever been a part of the 12-step programs, and even if you're not a part of the 12-step programs, I highly recommend that you recognize it, because they're very helpful for getting you to recognize um, behaviors in yourself. Even the Al-Non, because we've all been exposed to dysfunctional behavior, and that Al-Non and the 12-step the sort of correcting dysfunctional behavior. And many of the steps apply to everything. In fact, I wrote a book on the 12 steps to healing this country based on the 12 steps. The 12 steps are universal ways of healing and making things better. They're not just applicable if you're an addict of some sort. Whether you're a shopaholic, whether you are just dysfunctional, whether you're a rageaholic. There's all kinds of ways at those 12 steps. And part of it is just admitting that you have the problem and recognizing that you are going to ask for help to work through your problem. But I do have great respect for the 12-step program.
For the
And that
12 steps to heal the country, how come you haven't published it?
I got a dozen books in my computer that I've never published. I'm waiting to get to my trees so I can become very active, and it takes a lot of technology. So
Okay. I think that
okay.
sounds like a really good title for right now.
Yes, it would be. I'm very proactive. All right. But as you see, all of those things can neutralize, can overpower, can diminish the law of attraction. The law of attraction basically says the vibration that I'm at is the vibration I'm going to attract to me. So if I'm resonating at an at an 8, then I'm going to attract situations, beings, people at an 8. If I'm resonating at anger and irritation, I'm going to attract situations, people, beings, and more reason to be angry and unhappy. So that law of attraction says you're going to get like to like. But again, as he said, all those other things play into it. So it's not a one-on-one. Always this is always this. You may be absorbing anger in order to help release it, to help other people around you. So with the light workers, the rules aren't always the same. You signed up for this. And I keep saying, you signed up for this. This is part of your choice.
We forget how much fun human experience is. It's like, oh boy, it's a lot.
Okay. I think that's probably 6 or so. I'd have to think about what the other 6 are. Remind me, email me before the next session, and I'll dig out my notes if I can find them, because I'm moving. But there's sort of a sampling of other things that come in to make a difference. Does Esme have anything else that along that she?
Mayford just said laugh out loud. So again, there's always a little bit of a delay in feedback, and then once the comments post, it takes a few seconds for me to see it too. So just takes a few. But welcome. She said she'll email you. Heather@heatherharder.com. Good. Esme is very good at taking notes, so she's got all of her notes from weeks and weeks and weeks with us.
Wonderful. Send me a copy, and then what I can do is pick out the topics that we want to do workshops on. Because what I do is workshops on a 2-hour session on a single thing, and this would be one that would be conducive to a workshop.
Asking you about, what was the name you said that was on Netflix? But I'm not sure if it was the tree one. I asked her what topic, but we'll see. And thank you, Keith. That's very kind. My move went pretty decent. I'm currently in Indiana and living out of storage and staying with my mom and helping her as she's moving. And I'm not sure where I'm going yet. I'm letting the universe make it clear, because I don't know.
Well, and that's a topic unto itself. We're here to co-create our world. If I say I'm just going to let the universe guide me, then I'm not doing my part on that. So you have to recognize you're in partnership with the universe, and that you've got to co-create. You've got to do the work to help ascertain that information on what you're doing next, or where you're going next. I've seen a lot of people who say, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they are not doing anything actively toward that end. So the universe will support you when you're in movement. It doesn't support you when you're sitting on the couch watching TV. And I'm not saying that's what Stacy does, because you can't even sit on my couch. It's so full of stuff. If anybody really enjoys moving and they want to come help me, feel free.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. Volunteers. Anybody? Keith said, come to Florida. And then
one of my 5 states. I have narrowed it down to 5 states. Florida, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. Oh, she's got a Texas shirt on. So it's one of 5 states. I have seen and experienced and felt the trees, the land, and I will recognize it when I feel the land. The land is much more important to me even than the house. Can be a tent, an RV, a mobile home, doesn't matter, the house. It's the land that's calling me. So I've got to find that land.
Esme said on the same topic, you were talking about the secret of something related to the law of attraction. So I don't know if you remember what you were about. I remember us talking about the fantastic fungi and the trees of the networks on the ecosystem or something, but I don't remember. I don't know. On Netflix, do you know what you might have? Anybody else remember?
No, you're going to have to pay attention when I'm talking, because I don't remember what I say. Sorry.
Oh, you're such a.
When I'm talking, I literally am coming from consciousness. I'm not coming from me. I'm not coming through my mind and my memory. I'm coming from consciousness. And so after I've said it, I don't remember what it is. It's like a dream, you know, when I can tell you that 100% of what I say is truth. I know that. I've been shown it a zillion different ways. However, I don't remember what I say. And so the next time I come, I have to come from truth again. And the truth is right now, I don't know what I was talking about on Netflix. It's one of the reasons why liars are showing up so big right now. Liars can't remember their lies because the universe is not supporting the mind to remember the details. And it used to be liars would keep all these complex formulas in their head of how I lied and who I lied to, but they're just getting it all scrambled. So you're recognizing liars much faster now.
Okay, well, they were talking about The Secret, but I don't think you were mentioning good. You were talking about The Secret to you wasn't in the whole truth. It wasn't in full.
Well, The Secret is about the law of attraction. And it goes back a long way to a lot of different things. But The Secret is basically they're talking about the law of attraction. And as I said, that's one of many factors that will determine the quality of their life. It is not the end all be all to the quality of their life. And I would have to get more detail to reawakening. The Secret Life of Trees is a documentary that I was very impressed with on Netflix. And so I highly recommend you watch that, but it really is showing the consciousness of the trees and how they communicate with each other. That, you know, as I said, we live in a world that's much more complex than what we acknowledge. And then there's also A Secret Life of Plants that I hasn't seen the documentary, but it is a book that's very powerful that shows that plants have consciousness, and plants have identified murderers, and they have hooked them up to lie detector apparatuses, and they register in full consciousness. And then there's A Secret Life of unborn children that is incredible as well, that talks about all the research has been done on children, on infants in utero, to show how much more intelligent they are than what we fathom. And so those are the 3 secret life of trees, plants, and unborn children. That is really mind-boggling, all very impressive. And if you're pregnant or know someone who is, I highly recommend you give them the copy of The Secret Life of the Unborn Child, because it's amazing. And it's just all the research they've done on unborn children.
And I think Nelsie said The Secret Life of Trees, and that was one we were talking about last week. So maybe that's the one, Secret Life of Trees.
Well, I watched the documentary section of Netflix, and always found things that I found very interesting. So
Yeah.
if it's meant to be, you'll recognize it.
And that was one thing. The Fantastic Fungi is a documentary that I was just blown away with. I'm just going to call it neural networking. I don't know the things, but just the amount of connection that fungi actually has on this planet. It's like 30 miles deep with each. I mean, it's unbelievable, the connection. And they literally help transform. I mean, it was so beautiful to see how that works. It was like, wow.
Well, that's just the more you learn about this planet, the more in awe you should be, because it's a much, much more involved, impressive, complex experience than just us living our little lives. Welcome, Josie. I don't see you, but I know you're there. Welcome, welcome.
So maybe next week we could go through the 12 universal laws.
Again, you know how many things I put into storage already, so if I can find the file, it's meant to be.
Oh, there's
Secret Life of Water. Yes. Well, I think any of those secret lives are showing you a side that we haven't acknowledged before, and it's very powerful. There's one about the divas and the fairies and angels on a Netflix documentary that was very interesting as well, and I find that amazing.
One thing I love coming back to the Midwest is seeing all the lightning bugs. It's like, it's so magic. Like, it just glows like this little tiny little creature, and somehow it just illuminates. The effervescent.
Yeah, all kinds of good shit. So any other questions or comments or anything anybody wants to talk about? You don't have to just listen to me. You can unmute yourself and join in if you're on the Zoom call. And Stacy, did you ever tell us what a strawberry moon meant?
No, it's just the last super full moon of this year, but paired in the same week as the solstice, which depending on where you're on the planet, where I am, it's summer solstice. The other side of the world is winter solstice. Even that is pretty cool, that you can have both summer and winter in the same moment, just depending on where you are. And the eclipses, it's just a powerful time. And tonight the full moon is in Capricorn. So if you do look at your chart and see your Capricorn falls in your house, and see that it's giving you some extra oomph. But it's been, I think one of my posts was this roller coaster, like, when it's like you basically wanted to dive in to become a more spiritual being, and then you didn't realize what this week basically would look like with all the things I just mentioned. And it's just this ride of like, you have no control. You're just like, that's how I feel. It's just so much like, but I just keep setting intentions, letting go all that doesn't serve me, and bringing in the I am statements. I am always divinely led. I am exactly where I need to be at the right moment in time. Just a lot going on. But
okay.
I think also too, I think we're all, the more we can step into our truth, the more we are shifting it for the planet. I think we keep seeing that. And so my thing is just speaking your truth. It's not always easy, but it's the most important thing we can do. And a lot of
speaking your truth with love is different. It's not about just speaking your truth, but it's doing it with a filter of love and consciousness and compassion. So
yes, and I think that's kind of an assumption in my book. So yes, you should be doing everything with love, every intention. Yes, the exhaustion for no reason, to me there is a reason. It's our bodies are doing upgrades and doing energetic everything. So I'll let mom answer that as well. But I find when I do a lot of energy work, whether I'm in processing or whatever, I find I sleep more in general. And it's like it's just how I've always done. It's like healing too. Like if you're going through some major healing, and just like you would if you just had surgery, your body's usually a lot more exhausted. To me, it can be spiritual surgery or energetics. Like I feel like we have so much going on. Hang on. We got kicked off. So give me a second. Just post this. Cosmic. Nope, not Cosmos. Cosmic. Conversations.
Rebecca, why do you sit outside when we're doing this? I see that you often go outside.
I love being outside. I hate being inside. So, you hear me? Did you hear me?
You want to come down to my trees, don't you?
I would love that. Yeah, I'm outside all the time, as much as I can be.
Well, when I get my tree address, I'll let you know. You can come down and camp in my trees.
Yeah.
And that's to anyone who's listening.
Okay, hang on. All right. Da, 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 da. I think it says checking. You're live.
It doesn't say we're live on Instagram.
It says we're live on YouTube. And you don't see the Instagram because the Instagram's on my phone.
Yeah, but it often shows up here. Okay.
All
right. It's all right. Go ahead.
And I just going back to our conversation, it takes a minute for people to come back in. So welcome. We get kicked off now. I forgot. They started after an hour, just boot you. So let's just give a minute so they can come back in. We got at least a handful of them back. So, okay. As I was saying that, yes, I guess I'm assuming that everything you do is intentionally with love. And so, yes, that's already a part of that, but I think that's great to reverbalize that. And yeah, just.
And part of the reason why that authenticity is so important and really being real with yourself is so that you can see yourself. Oftentimes we have a distorted vision of, ourselves for various reasons. So by being authentic, by being real, we begin to see ourselves. Hi, Claudia. In a more realistic way. And that allows us to then do whatever we feel needed to do to be the person we choose to be. Because sometimes who we are is not matching up with our perfected ideal of ourselves. So when you see yourself in this level, you then have the opportunity of choosing to behave differently so that you can be in that perfected model of self.
So also Keith was saying too that he's been feeling the same way, drained and tired and no clue why. So would you like to go into how you feel that?
Why? Well, there's a zillion reasons. Poor nutrition, not enough water, blah, 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 all those kinds of things. But I think there's another overriding thing going on the planet right now, which I just became aware of in the last couple of days. And I think a lot of the light workers are also mending fences for a lot of the people who've gotten the shot. And energetically, as they say, the people who've gotten the shot are shedding. That I think that we're almost like vacuuming up all that shedding and transmuting it. So I think a lot more light workers are doing transformation work of that energy.
Well, and you were also saying too, one of the things that sometimes I think our higher self will naturally put us in that form too, because you're easier to, there's less resistance to the change or to the new frequencies. So,
well, I said there's 100 reasons why you can have that energy, why you can feel tired. So it's not just one, but I think the experience of the shot is a new one, but yes.
Right. Well, and I totally agree with that. there's, yeah, got my shun guide, got all my protection that I can through the holistic ways. But I think also too, just trust and listen to your body. I have struggled with a lot of body things my entire life, and when we can actually tune into our body is literally our vessel. It is our craft, and this is also our navigation system. So check into your body. Okay, body, why am I feeling tired? And maybe you just need a nap. But again, if you've set your intentions, you ask your team, you ask God, whatever your stuff is. But if you even want to call in, I want to be my highest self, I want to be able to live in my highest truth, I want to, whatever you're calling in, then sometimes we have to go through and clear out the old stuff to be able to bring in the new stuff. So just trust. And if you are feeling that way, it's not, I mean, there's no accidents, there never is. So I find I will sleep more when I'm processing extra stuff. And I think right now that there's so much going on the planet in so many forms and so many fashions. I think even in our dream state, there's a lot of us that are doing a lot of work even in our dreams. And so you might be being called in your dream state, which is why you need to be sleeping more. You just trust it, and you don't always need to know the answers. Sometimes that's our mind and sometimes that's our heart. So again, check in, feel it out, and listen. Your body.
And remember that you have the ability to change things. You are all powerful. And so if you're feeling exhausted for no reason, sit down, take a few deep breaths, and ask the angels to give you energy so that you can finish cleaning up the house or whatever it is. And so you can also alter those things. You don't have to just be exhausted. That too is a choice. And understanding and honoring your body sometimes, and sometimes saying, okay, I got you, you're tired, but we need to push on because I got to get this done by 6 o'clock or whatever. So you can negotiate between the two, but you have so much more help available if you ask. But don't be punishing your body and driving it when it really is beyond exhaustion. Just trust. Ask what you need to do for this situation.
Trust.
But
that water is said to be very important during this time. It's very important, obviously, our bodies in general, but also flushing intentions. But there's a lot of people. Mom's the first one that actually talked about that during this process, that sometimes you'll actually need a lot more water. You want to say anything about that? You look like you do.
No.
Okay. And by the way, someone said Stacy's been working out. I could tell. My gun show. I started laughing because I'm like, it's called moving. Just moving boxes and bags, and yes.
Some people go to the gym, others just pack up everything they own and put it on a U-Haul truck. It's all a game. Just don't sit around doing nothing. Do something.
Right. And by the way, I love that Rach is on here, and she's like, yes, she's got to make sure to find a way to work out with my 5 kids, bike trailer, and water. And I just want to say kudos to you, sister, because
I have way too many books. And so one of my exercise problems is you pack up your books and move it to another room and just keep shifting boxes of books, and keeps you young.
They get through me. I ask God and angels. Josie, do you want to talk about that? You want to say something?
Okay, Claudia's waving her hand, so.
Yeah, then I don't see her hand. So Claudia, go.
Okay, so you just mentioned about light workers processing more because people who have gotten the shot are shedding and kind of creating maybe some extra stuff to process.
Well, we're here to shift the energy. So with the more of the counter, then the more we have to do to keep the energy going up, to keep it vibrationally high.
I have a question. I mean, I know that you definitely are, are very vibrationally tapped in to the collective, and you definitely, more than I am in many ways. So my question to you is, do you feel like, um, there's a lot of apocalyptics out there saying, that it's the end times and all this stuff, and a lot of people are going to die, and there's going to be a major shift and a bifurcation of worlds, and
All right, first of all, you're giving me way too much stuff. So let's just deal with a couple things that you brought up.
mhm.
And we start with that assumption that I'm more tapped in than you were, there, whatever word you use, that I'm more connected or whatever. And that's just simply not true. We're all connected in order to be on this planet. Every human being is connected, but some people listen more. Some people trust it more. That's what I do more than maybe others. And so, right now, as I age, I love it. My hearing is becoming less acute. So I'm losing my hearing acuity as I age. It's not that I'm defective. It's just that's the part of the process of aging. So I don't hear it as clearly in a physical sense, but my hearing for the spiritual is actually increasing. And so you have to trust that always the sound is there. What are you going to do to listen more carefully? Tune in more often. Do you have a routine for just sitting quietly and listening? Do you have a routine for sitting and becoming reflective? I mean, some people see meditation as the end all be all. And it's one of many, many techniques, but it's not all the techniques. Taking a lovely walk in the woods and just becoming receptive is equally powerful. But everyone needs to find their own way of listening. As I've said many times, when I was first starting out, I lived a very, very, very active life. I was running 7 businesses. I was doing this. I was doing that. But my listening time was literally my bathroom time. I had to go to the bathroom. I had to sit for a few minutes, and during that time, I would intentionally release and be open to whatever it is the universe wanted to give me. I didn't meditate for decades. I didn't meditate. My mind was just way too active for that. But I found my way of actively listening, and I trusted what I got. And that's what everybody needs to do. But you are just as connected as I am, because there's only one connection. We're all connected the same way. I just maybe have developed more techniques for listening more clearly. Okay, so that's the first misconception I had to straighten up. And if you think I've got some kind of magic bell or connection, you won't recognize that anything I can do, you can do too. So, and that's really important. I was told by my spirit friends that my gift to this planet was that I was so ordinary, that I was ordinary looking, I was ordinary intelligence, I was ordinary in every way. I've got an ordinary body, that in every way I'm ordinary. And that was my gift, because people would look at me and say, well, if Heather can do it, I can do it too. So I throw that back to you. If I can do it, you can do it too. You just have to have the intention, the awareness, the desire to listen. So with that, and then you talked about a lot of apocalyptic people talking about the end times. This is the end times. I 100% agree to it. But how I define the end times, and I say my spirit friends and I define the end times is very different than what many people do. This is the end of time, not the end of creation. The end times is about not having this linear model of past, present, future. If you notice, time is speeding up. At one point in time, a week seemed like a long time. Now it's kind of a blink and the week is gone and you're already into it. It's because time is collapsing. And as it speeds up, time will be no more. That I can, and I'm getting chills as I say this because it's a concept that we haven't gotten used to. But time is an arbitrary creation that a bunch of men sitting around a table decided how it was going to work. Well, we're going to have this latitude and this longitude, and we've got 24 hours, and we're going to break it into this. And I mean, it was an arbitrary thing that was created. It is not the universal reality that I can sit here and I can think my vibration. And because of the way time space works, I can raise my vibration when I get to the point of that level. I can raise my vibration, and all of a sudden, you all can't see me. I have disappeared. I have ascended. And then I can, because thoughts become reality much faster at a higher vibration, I can think Paris. And all of a sudden, energetically, my little ball of light is in Paris. And then I can take and lower my vibration through intention, through consciousness, through free will, and my body becomes a parent again. And voila, I'm now in Paris. Well, I can do the same thing through time. I can go back and experience George Washington's inauguration. I can go back. And I love the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure because it shows time in a much more realistic way, where they could move through time and space through the intention. And at the end, they said, well, we would go back and we would put the keys here, and voila, they're there. That is a much more realistic model of how the universe works. So what we're seeing is time is ending. But it's not the end of creation. It's not that the world is going to crumble in a ball of fire. That's why we're here. We're here to prevent the destruction of the planet. Now, how this plays out is up to all of us.
I'm so sorry. My dad's neurosurgeon is calling, and remember the tumor. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to come right back.
Okay.
Myself. Sorry.
We'll talk about something else to get back so I can finish your question.
And someone else is talking about how we've been programmed, how we're not even able to survive, like in the hunt, the garden. Like, that's not by accident. And that's why we're here, to break the programming. It's weird that this is such an angle.
Well, as you become mindful of it, it's automatically broken. It takes, in order to accept the programming, you've got to just not be aware of it. As soon as you're aware of the programming, it's gone.
Well, and that's it. We're just here to break the cycle. And so that's the other thing too, is look at that. Like, there's so many. Yes, we've definitely read about the Anunnakis. We talked about them last week. If you have a question about them, it is very interesting. So I'm sorry, I'm getting caught with the questions and then my thoughts. So we unlock the program by feeling and changing the thoughts we choose. That's a question for you, Mom.
To make it easy, there's two ways of acting. I can react out of habit. When this happens, I always do this. I don't think about it. I just, someone does this and I get this way. Someone says this and I get angry. I can have an automatic behavior pattern, a habit. I can act out of habit. I can have my habitual behavior. I get up in the morning, I have my coffee. I can't think, I can't function if I don't have my coffee first. And then I go to this and I do this and I drive there. And I'm really not present. I just act out of habit. That's the programming. As soon as you become conscious, then you know that everything you do, everything you say, everything you are, every reaction you have is a choice. Someone spits in my face. My old behavior would have been to punch them in the nose or to scream and holler at them or to sue them or whatever my reaction would have been if someone spits at me. My conscious choice might be to look at this person who spit in my face and to send them love. and to energetically dispose of the cooties that are in their spit. I'm going to choose my behavior, not react out of habit. And that's really what a lot of people are doing. That's what we call the sleeping ones, or the conscious, or the sheeples, or whatever words we're using today for it. They're just acting out of habit. They react to life the way they programmed to be. Someone makes them angry, they run away. Someone makes them angry and they scream and holler. Whatever that habit is, that's their old programming. When you're conscious, you respond. You choose your behavior. You choose your reactions. You choose your words. And that is conscious behavior. That is being awake. That is ending your program. When you were growing up, your parents taught you, if someone disrespects you, you punch him in the nose. That's programming. The new awareness may be when someone disrespects you, that you need to find out where they're coming from, what's going on, what's happening. And that's breaking the programming. TV programs us, our parents programmed us, the world programs us. Our choice is to be conscious. Our choice is to not go into automatic habitual behavior, but to go into conscious choice. Any questions about that? Any reactions?
I have a question actually to go back about the statement before, because it's coming in and I feel like we've talked about it privately, but and other as well. But when the Bible, first of all, I have never personally read the Bible. I believe there's got truth in it, but I feel like it's been altered from the truth to make you reliant on a religion to give you your own connection to source when your God is already within you. It's my truth. But that being said, there is a lot of truths in that book as well. So the end of time, they talk about it, and you talked about the Revelation and also the mark of the beast. And
I get to the point. What's the question?
sometimes you could be so rude to me. It's kind of interesting.
I know, but you're giving me all these words and I'm getting lost. In order to be able to respond to your question, I have to follow the thoughts, and you're doing a lot of words. So just get to the point.
Oh my God, let me talk. Sometimes I just go through a little bit for people who are new to us that aren't always on the same understanding. So I'm giving a little pre-story. Those that are with us understand the pre-story, but those that are new don't. But my point is, do you want to talk about the mark of the beast? Because you felt the other day how important the mark of the beast is, but no one's seeing it. So that was my question.
Okay. See how much easier it is to go right to the question?
Oh.
All right. I firmly believe, first of all, I was told spiritually not to get any inoculations at all, at least 15, 20 years ago. And I thought, I don't get inoculations anyway, no problem. But it's been reinforced over and over again. I firmly believe that the technology, the little RNAs that are inside the shot are the mark of the beast. That has been put in to change and alter humanity for a specific reason. I do believe this mark of the beast is the 666, and literally what happens with these inoculations is that they will show up. You can scan them. They can track you. They, just like you can go through airport security and they can look at their face and know who you are, the shape of your ear and know who you are, that they've imprinted all kinds of things. Well, energetically, these nanoparticles that are inside this inoculation are doing the same thing. And not only inoculation, but also the test. Those swabs have been shown to have these nanoparticles there, and they're putting them right back in the back by your brain barrier. So I think those things are the mark of the beast. And it's done just like the Bible tells us. in order to control and manipulate us. I firmly believe that anything that's done can be undone, but I think that it's going to take more awareness and more intention to undo it. But literally, you can go on YouTube and watch videos, and that'll show you how to pull these nanoparticles out because they're so tiny. How to, a splinter would be like the Grand Canyon compared to one of the little nanoparticles, but they can show how to pull them out with certain baths and things. And under black lights, you can see them, you can watch them. And so I think we're just beginning, but it's really, it's an energetic war for your consciousness. If I can make you not be aware of the choices you make through manipulation, control, violation, chemical, whatever it is, then you'll never become conscious. And I think it's the consciousness that is so threatening to the outside forces.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
on that note, there's two things. One is someone was talking, and someone that they're close to will get the jab, but they are nervous about it. Do you have any advice?
Well, I would say if you're nervous about it, don't get it. I mean, it's your soul saying, maybe this isn't such a good idea. If you have doubts, recognize those doubts are there for a reason. Don't do something because someone else is telling you that you need to do this. That's really important. So if you're going to get it, look at your motivation, look at your reason, look at the research, look at the impact, and make your decision because you choose to, not because you're afraid of what's happening or what will happen if you don't get it.
Well, and they are using manipulative stuff. Do it for other people. Like if
Oh
you
yeah.
not doing it, care about.
But
yeah,
that's why you study history and you look at what Hitler did and the Nazis did it because it was the same kind of mindset then. And so don't be controlled. Don't do for any other reason other than I feel the need to do this. If it's internal for you, fine. But I think the greatest thing you can do for your health is turn off your TV and stop watching those commercials.
Okay, next is if someone's had one of those tests, because Juan Carlos says he has, is there something I can do to release that intent to control?
All right, first of all, I apologize. I was reading Rebecca's comment. She said, did you see if you get the jab by July 1st, you will be entered into a lottery for $1 million? No, I didn't see that. I know that many states are giving people bonuses. I know that many places are requiring you to do it for work. I mean, there's all kinds of motivation, and why should they care if you get it or not? That our government is paying for millions of jabs for people around the planet. It's all a control and manipulation. And as I say with love, they'll have to kill me first. I will not allow it to happen if I'm alive. And it's part of the reason why I want to get to the trees so that I do not have to. I can ride a lawnmower because they're saying you're not going to be able to get a driver's license without it. You won't be able to fly without it. You won't be able. And if that's the case, so be it. But I will not get it. I value my gift from God, which is my physical body and life. And I will not allow myself to do that. They'll kill me first, and I will gladly lay down my life for a good cause. Now read your question again, because I totally lost it with Rebecca. Shame on you, Rebecca. You distracted me.
Cancel. There's no shaming here. She's just teasing. This is Mom's funny version. All right. So if someone has gotten one of those tests, how can you transmute that?
Well, first of all, I think, again, ask your higher self, ask your connection, and you'll be guided. On YouTube, they have baths they can take. I started doing the pine needle tea, and I even showed my pretty thing of pine needle tea. The white pine needles tea is supposed to neutralize the effect. And because so many people are getting it, I figure I'm being exposed to those cooties just from being alive. So I'm drinking my pine needle tea as a precaution. but and you'll have to feel energetically whether they're speaking the truth or not. But all of their suggestions are things that you may do. I mean, it's a bath, and you're putting stuff in your bath. Nothing that's going to do lasting harm if it doesn't work. If you want to do bloodletting, I don't think I would do bloodletting. But so again, use your good judgment in order to determine what's going to be right for you. But it's your intention and energy. And so I would write out, this is where I would take and ask the angels to rectify, balance, clear out, and do those things for you if you felt that you may be impacted by them. If I get a strong answer that says do this and you're going to neutralize it, I will let you know. But I'm afraid that we're going to see some uglies before people wake up. But they are beginning to wake up now in greater numbers.
And just to put out there too, there's Damian Wayne. You can message me individually if you want. He's done some guided meditations that I found were really beautiful to neutralize any kind of stuff.
Cooties.
Yeah. And to me, always, I mean, I believe we do have the power if it's your choice. And I think that's where a lot of the healers and light workers, like we talked about earlier, I think a lot of us are doing work on the other dimensions and planes, which is why we're getting exhausted. It's why we need to be in that, because we're being drawn to neutralize a lot of this energies for people who aren't wanting this, who want this stuff. So I think that there's many levels to that. And I would go, if it was me personally, I would start doing visualizations of clearing anything like that, anything foreign in your body from anyone other than God. You clear it out and love it for the best and highest good of all concern, and neutralize, visualize, energetically do what you need to do that feels in alignment for you. But to me, I would take the time to really intentionally clear that. We did a class before on the alien implants, and maybe that's another thing we want to do again, Mom. That's totally up to her. But oh yeah. Okay, so I really like this. Rach, if I've known her since I was 12. I think you were like 6 or 7. She's younger, but it's my bestie's little sister. So it's fun seeing her getting into all this stuff, because I'm like, wait, I had no idea my whole life. All right, so couple things. She's asked about the husband thinks Biden is a reptilian and he shapeshifts right in front of your eyes. Do you want to? We talk a lot about this. This is usually
first of all, this. Yeah, these are conversations we've had, and you said you wanted to end at 10 minutes till 8, so we're going to be.
So I have 8 minutes before I need to go.
Okay, so let me finish. So first of all, I think a lot of you can kind of see which team they're playing on. The greater good are the ones who are looking for free will. They're encouraging you to think for yourself. They're encouraging states not to take away their rights. They're encouraging honesty and integrity. There are those who are promoting, do as I say, this is good for everybody. Just take the pill and be done with it, or take the shot and be whatever. And so you can sort of see where they're coming from. When they're coming from this manipulation, control mindset, they're either humans that have been manipulated and controlled, or they are non-humans and are working on their own agenda. On this planet, we have over 50 races of aliens living on the planet. There's a couple that are strongly determined to harness the resources that humanity represents and make us sort of their worker bees. And that's what's going on. They don't see themselves as evil or bad. They just see it themselves making decisions for what's good for us. At the same time, we're investing huge amounts of money into solar energy. We have those who are putting stuff in the atmosphere to dim the sun. That doesn't make sense at the time where we know more about the role that trees make in clearing the atmosphere and restoring health to the planet. We have those who are chopping down rainforests at millions of acres per minute. I mean, so you can tell that even the dumbest humanity is not going to destroy their own environment. But if I'm a reptilian or any other alien life form, I may not want the oxygen, the sun, the things that we have here. I would want to manipulate it so it serves me, just like the guy, the rich old guy, I can't think of his name, who is actually actively changing the environment on Mars so that humanity can colonize it. I forget his name. What's his name? Anyway, but he's literally given himself permission to alter the environment of Mars so that humanity can move there. And that's sort of the mindset of these aliens. If I change the environment, it'll be friendlier to me. We'll harness the humanity as our resources, just like we would, gather up all the wild horses and either make them into glue or use them in our own way. Yeah.
Elon Musk is his
Elon Musk, yes, that's it. Elon Musk is the one that's actively working to change the environment of Mars. Who the hell gave him permission to change the environment of Mars? Bill Gates is wanting to put particles in the atmosphere that filter out the sun. Who told him he's making decisions for the planet? And yet they are, and no one is stopping them. And I think that's what we need to be aware of and be mindful of.
Well, bless their hearts. That's why we're here, sending lots of love and light, folks.
Sending lots and lots of love, and we do that when we start the gauge. And when we send love, literally, it's not to alter them; it's to stimulate their own love energy, so they can be wiser, bolder, stronger, whatever that needs to be for their own behalf.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? And
now we just have someone's gonna have to check that out, and they're shifting so much. They're just excited to talk to y'all. Thanks for having me join. And I have a bill, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, we got lots of hearts in those last conversations, and then someone also put that's why wood went up. And then
everything. I mean, it's amazing. First of all, my refrigerator died. Go figure. A few weeks ago, we went out to buy a new refrigerator. There's a shortage of refrigerators because of COVID. All the factories were closed down apparently, and there's no new refrigerators. It's going to be weeks to months to get a refrigerator if we can get one at all. So I called the repair guy and said, okay, repair guy, come fix my refrigerator. And the repair guy says, oh, COVID, the shortage of parts. So there's going to be weeks to months. I don't have any idea how long it's going to be before they can fix my refrigerator. So we went out and bought a used refrigerator from somebody off Facebook. So we have a refrigerator sitting in our living room that we can't get in the kitchen because it's the wrong size. And then the refrigerator that's in the kitchen, which is sort of normal, is not working. And so, yeah, we're having all kinds of ripples experience. The cost of wood, the cost of this, the cost of that, everything is still being impacted. And it's going to be for a while. We're not through the COVID experience yet. And this is where you really need to get self-sufficient. It's really important. Come down, join me in my trees. You can help me plant my garden so we can have our little happy carrots and all that stuff. But it really is an important time to start looking at your life and what you have to depend on from other people. Any other questions or comments from out there? Any of you on
we have
Zoom?
Views, and then I also love that Esme put every time I see you guys live, I feel so relaxed after.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad we can help you feel relaxed. Know that probably an hour before we started, I was sweating dirty and moving boxes. Building my own guns by moving boxes.
Well, and just a reminder, y'all, to me, these are the moments that I really cherish because it's like we kind of go through our shit And then it's like to sit down and to be able to like come together and talk about it and discuss it and know that, oh, I'm not alone going through my stuff. Like, oh, you've been feeling this exhausted too. Like, that's the importance of tribe. And to me, I believe that even though a lot of our social medias were created to play psychological programming that doesn't serve us, it also is the way that light workers have transformed it to also connect. I mean, look at us right here. In our group, we have how many countries? Like, what do we have? Costa Rica, we have Mexico, we've got Venezuela, we got Canada, we got the United States, and we got Claudia, where is she? Ecuador. And we're small, like pretty decent size, but just know that if you put out the intentions, okay, God, I need a message. Okay, God, this is blah, 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 or divine or angels or source or higher self, whatever term you use, it's not about the term. It's just about that connection. And you will get this. I've, just heard the other day, Claudia last week was like, I was really, putting this out there. And then all of a sudden I got this urge to go on Instagram and you were live. And it's like, that's how it works. And that's how we found each other last year. So just trust that inner little guidance, the inner little things, you put it out there, let it go, but know that this to me is the way we get through this. It's the way
it's taking the action. She asked for it. She felt the impulse to do something and she did it. That action is so very important, because a lot of people will feel the impulse and go, oh no, I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to get lost in that. And they don't follow through. That following through is this magic step that many people fail to do. They don't trust. They think, oh, this is my imagination. I don't want to do this. And so they don't do it. You have to, Spirit speaks to us in the impulse. And that impulse is not often convenient or easy, and it's easy to doubt and question and argue with yourself and second guess yourself, but you have to follow your impulse if you're going to be effective. I want to also talk, Josie put down that they build devices to last only 5 years. And that's exactly what my repair guy said. The refrigerator we bought is much older than the refrigerator that I had, but he said it'll last much longer because it's a much better refrigerator. And because the newer ones are not built as well. And it is planned obsolescence. It's very much intentional.
And just to put it out there, because it's time for me to go, but I also just want to say, keep posting, because I have a couple classes that I'm in the process of working, and I'm really excited to start offering soon. So.
All right. And so for the rest of you, I think we'll just close up shop right now too, so we can go and celebrate. You can find your own quiet time to celebrate your strawberry moon. And the moon energy is very important. So if you have the ability to get out and get in the moon energy, this would be a great day to do it. Moon is when you reap the results of your collective. So be ready to receive and trust.
And to me, also, the full moon is to release. Like, what are you ready to let go of? Like, moving into.
You plant on the new moon, you reap in the full moon. So, yes.
I did not call it the strawberry moon. That was LD. So I don't know if that.
No, everybody in Facebook's been calling it strawberry moon.
I just know it's the last Libra moon. Do you know something? It looks like you're going to say something. All right. Well.
Sure.
I love you all. This is a powerful time. We're on this planet together, because, right? Is there a little song? We got this together, baby. Do we ever?
And if you're feeling the need to move boxes, feel free to come to my house and help me move boxes.
You start.
I love you all.
Good night.
Have a great week. Thank you, Nelsie. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Claudia, wherever you are. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, everybody else who's been online. And we'll see you next week.
Okay.